The modern world did not emerge from creativity or curiosity. It emerged from fear, from secrecy, from quiet decisions made in rooms without windows. Three origins shaped the systems we live inside today: the network that connects us, the institution that controls our money, and the structure that defines our health. Together, they reveal how power builds the foundations of a civilization long before anyone notices. In 1969, the United States created ARPANET, a network designed to survive the unimaginable. If nuclear fire erased entire cities, communication had to remain possible. It was not built for convenience. It was built for continuity. The first message sent through ARPANET was supposed to be, "Log in." Only 2 letters made it through: LO. The system crashed instantly. A fragile beginning for a network meant to endure catastrophe. Today, it delivers entertainment, distraction, and noise. But beneath every click lies the skeleton of a system engineered for war. A network built to outlive destruction that now defines everyday life. Power rarely begins in public. In 1910, 7 men traveled under false names to a remote island off the coast of Georgia. Inside a private clubhouse on Jekyll Island, they drafted the blueprint for the Federal Reserve, the institution that would control America's money supply. No reporters, no witnesses, no public record. Their meeting was secret because its consequences were enormous. When the Federal Reserve Act quietly passed 3 years later, the world changed without ceremony. Every crisis, every war, every recovery since then has passed through the system they designed. The Federal Reserve didn't begin in Congress. It began in silence. And silence is where power grows fastest. At the same time, another transformation was unfolding, not in finance, but in the human body itself. In the early 1900s, the Rockefeller Foundation reshaped American medicine by rewriting how doctors were trained. Medical schools were standardized, curricula rebuilt, entire fields erased. A new model emerged: laboratory-driven, pharmaceutical-dependent, industrially funded. Health became a system. The system became an industry. And the industry became a marketplace. Follow the money, and the story changes. The body became part of an economic structure designed for efficiency, not humanity. 3 origins, 3 blueprints, 3 quiet decisions that still define the world's most powerful systems. The Internet, the financial order, the medical establishment. All built in secrecy, all built to last. Power does not only operate through institutions. Sometimes it moves through individuals. Men whose lives become shadows across continents, whose actions reshape nations, and whose stories survive only in classified files and forgotten recordings. 3 moments reveal how intelligence, secrecy, and covert machinery define the darker architecture of modern history. In 1983, a single fingerprint was lifted from the wreckage of the Beirut barracks bombing. It belonged to a man who would become one of the most elusive figures in modern intelligence, Imad Mugniya. For 25 years, agencies across the world searched for him. He planned operations across 5 continents: Buenos Aires, Khobar, Beirut, leaving behind devastation, but never a trail. The FBI placed him on its most wanted list, a $5 million reward. No one claimed it. Mossad tracked him through Tehran, Damascus, and Beirut, but every operation collapsed at the last moment. Someone warned him. That possibility was never ruled out. In 2008, the hunt ended. A bomb hidden inside the spare tire of his vehicle detonated in Damascus. The identification came from a single fingerprint, the first match to the one recovered in 1983. Neither CIA nor Mossad has ever officially confirmed their involvement. Some hunts end with justice, others end with silence. Silence also surrounds one of the rarest artifacts of the Second World War, the only known recording of Adolf Hitler speaking privately, without a script, without an audience, without the performance. In 1942, during a visit to Finland, a hidden microphone captured his voice in an unguarded moment. Calm, measured, almost ordinary. The SS discovered the recording and threatened the engineer who made it. But the tape survived. It reveals something unsettling. The architects of catastrophe rarely sound like villains. They sound like men discussing plans. History preserves the speeches, but the truth often lives in the moments between them. 2 decades later, another document emerged. Not a recording, but a proposal. Typed, formatted, filed. In 1962, senior U.S. military officials drafted Operation Northwoods, a plan to stage attacks on American civilians and military targets, then blame Cuba to justify an invasion. Hijacked planes, bombings, false casualties, fabricated evidence. The proposal was delivered to President Kennedy. He rejected it. It was never carried out. But the fact that it was written, calmly, bureaucratically, reveals something about the machinery of power. The most dangerous ideas are not always whispered in secret. Sometimes they are documented, approved, and prepared for execution, until one person says no. 3 stories, 3 documents, 3 glimpses into the hidden machinery that shapes the world. A fingerprint that launched a 25-year hunt. A recording that captured a dictator without his mask. And a proposal that nearly manufactured a war. Power moves quietly, through individuals, through institutions, through decisions that almost happened, and those that did. The future is never shaped by technology alone. It is shaped by the people who stand closest to it, the networks behind the laboratories, the patrons behind the research, and the forces that decide which ideas survive and which disappear. Some of these networks operate in daylight, others move in silence. Jeffrey Epstein's world was built on access, not only to financiers and politicians, but to scientists, technologists, and thinkers whose work would define the next century. For years, he moved through circles where artificial intelligence, genetics, and advanced computation were being shaped, not as a researcher, but as a connector, a sponsor, a presence. The question that lingers is not what he built, but what he influenced, and how those relationships may have intersected with the technologies that now govern our lives. Some networks collapse when exposed. Others continue long after the spotlight fades. But influence is not always subtle. Sometimes it is violent. Sometimes it is sold. During the siege of Sarajevo, a single street became a symbol of terror: Sniper Alley. For 4 years, crossing an ordinary road could mean death for a child, a mother, or anyone desperate enough to search for food. But the darkest layer of the siege was revealed years later: a covert tourism network offering wealthy foreigners the chance to hunt civilians for sport. They arrived by helicopter, paid the equivalent of 100,000 euros, and fired at unarmed people from the hills above the city. The price for shooting children was the highest, while the United Nations watched, while NATO calculated, while the world debated. A nation was carved apart, and human suffering became entertainment for those who could afford it. History remembers wars through treaties and borders, but the truth often lives in the margins, in the acts that were never meant to be recorded, in the crimes that were never meant to be known. 8 centuries earlier, another massacre unfolded under the banner of faith. In 1209, the Cathars rejected the corruption of Rome. The Church responded with an army. When crusaders asked how to distinguish heretics from believers, the papal legate gave a single command: kill them all. God will know his own. 20,000 Christians were slaughtered, men, women, children. Thousands burned alive inside a church. This was not doctrine, it was economics. The Pope promised crusaders they could keep the land of everyone they killed. A holy war built on profit. The written orders from Pope Innocent III remain sealed in the Vatican archive, 800 years later. 3 stories, 3 eras, 3 forms of power. A financier whose influence touched the future of technology. A war where human life became a luxury commodity. A crusade where faith was used as a weapon for land and wealth. The past does not disappear. It echoes in the systems we build, in the technologies we trust, in the institutions we believe will protect us. History is not buried. It is inherited. You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Support the movement. Show where you stand. Your voice matters. Your choice shapes what comes next.